My name is Anneline Lewies. I'm the Director of Coaching for Netball South Africa. I'm also a National Coach Developer and part of the Netball South Africa Executive. With coaching, we are looking at making sure that people who are playing netball gets the best opportunity to be trained. So we've got a pathway for coaches starting from club level, school level, going through to your districts, and then moving through to your provincial federations. Also at schools level, they do have district competitions, and they also have provincial and national, so they also give opportunities to coaches at various levels. This also includes our rural areas, making sure that our areas that's far out have the opportunity for their players to have coaches. In order to get to be a coach, you can start at a pre-level, which is a one-day course, and it just gives you the basics of netball, which means if you really don't have any knowledge or any background and you do want to be a coach, you can actually start with a pre-level which guides you with regards to which positions are playing where and the basic rules of netball, etc. Going from there, you don't need to wait to go into a level 1 coaching course. You can do a pre-level and immediately enter into a level 1. Our level 1 coaching course is a 3-day course during which time we address the fundamentals of coaching. So you get the coaching principles, what it takes to be a level 1 coach, what you need to know, which also includes basic rules. The most important thing you need to know is that you cannot coach if you don't coach with the rules of netball. And as we all know, the rules change. Our directed umpires would have told you that our rules often change, and especially every 4 years through our mother body, the International Netball Federation. And therefore, as a coach, you need to be updated with the rules, and therefore it's part of our course. We also make sure in our level 1 that we address the fact of coaching children. It's quite important for us to know how to work with children, because we start with them at a very young age, and therefore the level 1 is very appropriate for school teachers to have a level 1 coaching accreditation. So part of our coaching would then be, or our coaching level 1 course would then be a specific time period that we spend on how to coach children. Not the what to coach so much as the how to coach. How do we teach them the skills? Do we afford them opportunities to ask questions and to actually learn through that experience? So when we're on the course, we also make sure that we teach the coaches the correct ways of questioning skills, what they need to do. And that is very important for us to make sure that our coaches understand what they need to do to improve themselves. It's things like communication, asking questions, looking at the body language of players, and how to assess what it is that children need to do. So we normally refer in coaching children also to the 5 C's, where we look at the character of that child or the player. And it's not only for children. Sometimes adults start a bit later in life. So it's important for the coach to know the player. So if you want to coach Precious, you need to know Precious. You need to know her background. You need to know where she comes from. When we do our level 1 course, we also afford our coaches the opportunity to be assessed on the course. So they would basically have a theory for 2 days, and then they would be assisted to how to do session plans, very basically. Skills development, so when we talk about skills development, it's about attacking skills, defending skills. So your attacking is how to get free. Things like dodging, front cut, etc. So we've got 5 attacking skills, and we make sure that our coaches understand them, because they have to do the skills in order to progress to the gameplay. And that is what we assess when they are on our level 1 course. So we 100% make sure that these people are equipped. We assist them throughout the training period on how to do their coaching session plans and what it is that they need to do. And then when we assess them, there's 11 points that we actually, or criteria, which they get before the time. So it's not something that they don't know. We make sure that they understand what they are being assessed on in order to be found competent. So we've changed the system a lot from the start to actually assist coaches and catch them in and not catch them out when we go on to coaching courses. Therefore, I can honestly say that since we changed the system in 2013-14, we've signed up on the coaching framework with SASCOC. We've also signed up onto the long-term coach development pathway for coaches, and Netball South Africa also signed up onto the player development pathway. So it's 3 things that we had to bring together to assist coaches to make sure that our athletes get the best coaching possible. So once you've gone through a course, a level 1 course, you can get an accreditation after your assessment and the fact that you've been found competent on the criteria. And then after that, you need to actually coach for a year before you are allowed to go on to a level 2 course. I also need to just make it clear that because we often work with children, you need to at least be 18 years old to enter level 1 coaching course. And even though we say you can move on to a level 2 coaching course after a year, we do not take candidates for level 2 until they're 21 years of age. And that all has to do with a lot of legislative issues. So coaches need to have a police clearance in order to coach. That's protection for our players. And it's also because of a lot of abuse that's taken place. And I think during the past few years, a lot of abuse on players has come to the front by coaches. Sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect, which means coaches are actually not giving attention to players. So if a player doesn't develop quickly enough for them, then they just decide that player is not good enough. So we've had to look at all those things. Part of that is also then that coaches need to do a safe sport course or a child safety, if you want to call it that. They also need to actually do first aid because to prevent injuries. And then they are also taken through what we call the anti-doping. So doping has also been an aspect that's really come to the front. A lot of our athletes test positive because of the supplements that they use. So those are all courses and things that are really coming and assisting coaches to make themselves better. When we look at our level 2 course, it's a 3-day course that they have to attend. Again, we focus on very important aspects, and there we focus more on the tactical play. So that's where you actually get to learn how to strategic manage and technically manage your gameplay, and things like your center passes, your throw-ins from the back line or the sideline, your shooting, very specific actions on that, and then also how to set up play from different areas on court. We focus a lot on team building, what it is that you need to be, and looking at the mental aspects of your players. We've got a very short module about nutrition and what is important for the players to work with, or the coaches to ensure that their players follow nutritional guidelines. And then we also have a short module that we do on vision. So once you've done your level 2 course, you actually have to coach for a full year, like an internship, where you then have to go and do a minimum of 50 coaching sessions, during which time we also assist you, we mentor you, we tell you how your full session plan look when you want to go into a high performance coaching. So from a level 1 where we have a very basic session plan, we in level 2 move into a very comprehensive session plan, and assisting your coaches throughout the year that they do the internship. And then they do an hour and a half assessment where they've got to go from warm up, do their proper planning and going through to a gameplay situation. So what we also need to make sure is that coaches understand that they don't only have one opportunity, but that they get various opportunities to be assessed. So if there is something that they not found competent on, they might actually be given a second and a third opportunity to go and fix those areas, and we can also assess those via video. Once a coach is a level 2 coach, that gives them the pathway into going into really coaching your provincial teams, your district and provincial teams, and it helps them to actually start working towards a pathway of going into maybe high performance and your national league teams like Telkom National Championship, as well as your SPA National Championships or your national championships for schools. So that gives them that opportunity. When we get to level 3, it's very important that coaches understand that we've aligned our coaching qualifications with the NQF, the National Qualifications Framework, which is also via the coaching framework from SASCOP that we signed up on. So you need to at least have coached for a minimum period of 7 years at a provincial level going into a national level. And for level 3, you need to RPL in terms of the professional body of coaching, and I will have a discussion about that just now. And the same goes for our level 4, which is a master coach level, which basically means that you need to be coaching at international level for a minimum of 10 years, and that you should have had podium finishes, or that you at least should have ended within the first 6 positions internationally when we have a World Cup or a Commonwealth game attendance. We also take into account the fact that when you're a senior coach or a level 3 coach, that you can coach at least in Africa, which means our African competitions. So you do need to have the knowledge in order to coach at that level. And aspects that are really important is things like periodization. You need to have sport science information. You need to understand the physiology of your players that you work with. So those are really important aspects when you start going into your level 3 and your level 4. One of the other aspects that we do train our coaches in is video analysis. So that is also very important, that our coaches understand how to analyze games, how to analyze the opposition, how to analyze their own players. And we've brought in the fact that the players get trained how to analyze themselves and analyze their opponents. It's important for a player to understand that if I play against a specific player, this is the way that player plays. That player is right-handed or left-handed. That player likes to shoot from the one side of the circle or from the middle of the circle or close to the goal post. So there are so many things that becomes technical when you go into a level 3 and a level 4 that make sure that you understand what the play is about. And we want in our coaching to create a sustainable performance culture. which means that your coaches can't just sit back and say, okay, but I've done a level 1 or I've done a level 2. You actually need to be proactive, and you need to be motivated and committed to go and improve your coaching. So the more courses you can do that can assist you with that, the better that will be for our coaches. Hence, when we go also and we talk about the professional body ensures that coaches are licensed, that they're on the correct level, which means they've got a RPL, recognition of prior learning, it stands for, have the knowledge to attain a certain designation. So if you're a level 1 coach, it means you would be aligned to a coaching assistant. A level 2 would be a coach, level 3 would be a senior coach, and level 4 would be a master coach designation. We do have an apprentice coach designation for our pre-levels as well, which doesn't necessarily require that you have to complete your RPL or recognition of prior learning, but you can get a designation as an apprentice coach. All of these designations are going to require of you to get continuous professional development points. So we call it CPD. You need to have specific points because of things that you've attended. So if you've attended first aid, you might get anything between 3 and 5 PCD points. So that assists you throughout the year to make up a certain amount of points, and a professional body has certain criteria for the different levels of coaching that you're on. So that ensures that coaches actually make sure that they improve themselves throughout. They can't just go and sit back. The thing that coaches also need to understand is that there is a requirement on the side of Netball South Africa that they pay a membership fee, and there's going to also be a requirement on the professional body side that they pay a membership fee. If they do not pay that membership fee, their license to coach is going to lapse, and then they will have to reapply to actually have that specific designation. And that designation will run from the 1st of January to the 31st of December every year, and you've got to actually renew that. So that is to make sure that we can say to a person that you are a coach. If somebody wants to have a coach to come and coach them, this person has been screened. This person does have a police clearance. This person complies with certain criteria. In order to make coaching more professional, not necessarily only to earn a salary on that, but that is going to definitely assist coaches, which means that you can go into a pathway of having a career path in coaching. And that might assist a lot of coaches or people who doesn't have work, but who can go into that. Important things that we need to understand is that if a person is not able to work with people and build relationships and communicate, then that is definitely not going to be the right pathway for that person. You need to have good communication skills, and communication skills means that you need to know the player that you're coaching. It means that you need to have leadership skills. So there's quite a lot of things that impact on the pathway for a coach. If you can't talk to people and you can't talk in front of people, it becomes almost a barrier for you to be able to coach. And that is one of the things that we definitely need to think about, is your relationships that you have, interpersonal relationships and intrapersonal, the confidence that you have yourself, your own character. And then very important is the knowledge that we have about the game. I spoke earlier on about knowing the rules. You cannot coach without the rules. So everything that you do on a court needs to be coached with the rules. And then you also need other knowledge. As I said, external knowledge, for instance, sports science, physiology, mental coaching of the players. What is your EQ and your IQ of your players that you deal with, your extras, and we call them basically the things that helps you is, for instance, assisting your players with skills like vision. So it's not only the physical fitness, it's the mental fitness, it's the vision, and it's the ability to analyze your opponent. So all those things comes in a nutshell, and that's going to help you as a coach to actually create that sustainable performance culture for your players.